afternoon. My name is Abe Friedman. I serve as the Intergovernmental Advisor to the Borough President. Welcome to Borough Hall. As always, we are honored and delighted to host you in Borough Hall for this great event as Heroes of the Month. For those who are not aware, the Borough President has formed the Heroes of the Month and honored over 100 people that went beyond the call of duty for Brooklynites. Sometimes it's a teacher or just a civilian that walked by and helped someone that is in need. So today we are excited to present to you all heroes of October, November, and December. So without further ado, Borough President Eric Adams.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you, and really thank you to all of our honorees, and really want to thank them for just going beyond the call of duty. And some of the people we've honored over the years have really given a level of commitment and dedication to the city of New York in their daily duties, and then they take action that really move beyond that. We want to say thank you to them. The honorees for the month of October are two officers who took action while off duty, NYPD officers who saved the life of a man having a heart attack at a Staten Island bowling alley. Officer Joseph Glorioso Desiderio and Giovanni Cucuzza. Both the officers of the 61st Precinct were bowling at Rab's Country Lanes and Dungan Hills when the man bowling next to them went into cardiac arrest. After placing the man on his back, the officer's training took over. Officer Cucuzza ran to retrieve the lane's defibrillator, and his partner performed chest compressions, and both officers looked for vital signs. The man still had no pulse. While 911 was called, the officers ripped open the man's shirt and used the defibrillator in an effort to restore the man's heartbeat. The man was taken to the hospital where he was placed in stable condition. Clearly, these officers saved his life with their fast actions. When they were asked about their heroic acts, both the officers indicated in a very modest way, this is what we signed up to do, and they're glad to be a member of the New York City Police Department. And so for their quick thinking that helped save the life and show the daily heroism of the New York City finest, we are proud to recognize both officers as October Heroes of the Month. Thank you. Congratulations to you both. Good job. Who won the bowling game? I asked who won the bowling game. They said they won that night. So on behalf of the people of Brooklyn, we want to thank both of these officers who are being held as heroes after they saved the life of Mr. Roy Spiro, suffering a heart attack at Rab's Country Lanes, a bowling alley on Staten Island. As the story that I indicated, this is our way of saying thank you. Continue to do the great things you do every day. So, Officer Cucuzza, again, congratulations to you. What's it, Chief? Want you speak? Anyone?
I just want to briefly just thank the Borough President for recognizing the officers, and I get to see the stories every day that the officers do, each and every day. And it's amazing, and the different types of things that they do, whether it's rescuing somebody who's having a heart attack, or saving somebody who's looking to hurt themselves, or catching the bad guy who's hurting people out on the street. It's amazing the work that all the officers do. And thank you very much, Eric Adams, for recognizing the work that the officers do. And I congratulate them also on the great job they did. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a picture. For the month of November, our heroes, an NYPD officer as well, who went above and beyond the call of duty. This really touched me in how this was handled, and I really want to thank Officer Schack Michelle Schack. She was contacted by the family. This was just really good police work, and it's just really commendable. Anyone who has a child could really, understand some of the trauma of particularly postpartum, and just having an officer that did not just take a call, but really responded to the call. And I want to personally thank her and her partner that's here as well, Officer Nanda. Okay, thank you very much. They're both here. They was contacted by a family in Brooklyn on November 15th who said that their daughter was sending them disturbing text messages and had taken her infant daughter out of daycare early. The young mother, 27 years old, says she can't go on like this anymore and planned to kill herself and her child. The officers used the department cell phones to track the vehicle, and they saw it was going over the Verrazano Bridge, which the girl's mother indicated that is the route to the family's Pennsylvania home. She also mentioned how easy it is to buy a gun in Pennsylvania. Putting this information together, Officer Schack sprang into action. She found a gun store on Google. Just think about that for a moment. A gun store on Google that was close to the family's home, and contacted the owner. She described the woman they were looking for to the owner and told him to stall if she came into the store to purchase a gun. When the person matching the description walked into the store, the owner called 911 and stalled as they were instructed by Officer Schack. Eventually, the local police showed up and took the mom and baby to a local hospital for evaluation. Officer Schack and her partner's quick decision and quick thinking and instinct, honed by her time on the force, make her our November Hero of the Month. This is I just cannot say thank you enough, officer. So few people do and take the action that you took, and we really want to thank you. This is when we talk about the New York City finest, this is what we're talking about. So on behalf of all Brooklynites, we salute you for responding to the postpartum depressed Brooklyn mother who was moments away from killing herself and her 6-month-old baby. We applaud you and your partner for knowing that time was of the essence, using your cell phone, tracking the vehicle, notifying the gun store, and really responding to the call of service and saving 2 lives in the process. You often hear the opposite end of the story. When a mother goes through this experience, the child is lost, the mother is lost, the family is traumatized. But we want to thank you for your quick response. Tell them what great things this young girl will grow up to do because her life was saved and because of the actions of these 2 officers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just want to thank the Borough President Eric Adams for this amazing honor. It's been a whirlwind for me. I'm just an officer and I'm just doing my job. That's all it is. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for honoring the officers. Michelle and Nanda did a phenomenal job that day. I responded to the scene, and Michelle, God bless you, your soul, your wittiness, because I wouldn't have thought of that. And great police work, and thank you again for honoring our officers.
Thank you. Really good. You can take a picture, okay? Our next honoree, we want to honor and salute Jessica Chait, Managing Director of the Met Council on Jewish Poverty Food Programs. Few people know this, but after the horrific anti-Semitic shooting in Jersey City at a kosher market that claimed 4 victims, the lives of 4 people, the city, which has a large Hasidic community, had no grocery shop store to shop in. That's where the Met Council and their network of volunteers came in place, and they donated and delivered 10,000 pounds of kosher food for the community right after the shooting to show support and solidarity with the Jewish community in Jersey City. They set up a free store at the Bethune Community Center on Martin Luther King Drive, where Jewish residents were invited to shop for supplies. There was boxes of food abroad, including pastry, cheese, cereal, milk, and other supplies. Within a day, they were able to help roughly 75 families from the surrounding community. For their selflessness actions to help a community recover after a horrific act of hate, we are proud to recognize this great organization and for what they did to assist people during a very difficult moment in their lives, and we cannot thank them enough. So on behalf of 2.6 million Brooklynites, we want to thank the Met Council on Jewish Poverty's food program for taking the lead to coordinate the delivery of 10,000 pounds of kosher food after the mass shooting. And we also want to thank them for really going on the ground after the cameras left, after all the news stations departed. The Met Council on Jewish Poverty remained there and was there to ensure that these families had some of the basic supplies and items that they need. We want to continue to lift up that community during such a horrific period of time. And again, we want to thank Jessica and the entire crew. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. So many of you know that Met Council operates the largest emergency kosher food program in the country, which means every day we're delivering free food to people who otherwise couldn't afford it. But we are an emergency food program, and we couldn't have foreseen the events that took place in Jersey City, but that was an emergency, and we were called to respond. And we are so delighted that we could, and we're so grateful for the support here today, but really always for ensuring that we could do this important work. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a picture, but we also want Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Deutsch, who lives in Jersey City, wants you to also say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Borough President, for recognizing this heroic event that Met Council did for us. David Greenfield and his team, it was a day after. It was a community that was devastated, and we didn't even realize the extent of it. It was Thursday morning. It was a day after the funeral, and David called us that we're here with food. Initially, I didn't even comprehend the extent of the importance of it, but as the day went by and Shabbos came, Saturday came, and I realized when I got to Friday afternoon, I realized that if not what a Met Council would have done, we would have literally didn't have any food. We were devastated emotionally, materialistically. There was no food to buy, but more importantly, no one had their mind in the right place. There were fathers and mothers that usually prepare for Shabbos were busy counseling their children that went through a traumatic event that I don't think any of us ever witnessed. So David Greenfield and his team were literally angels from heaven. They saved the day. So thank you.
Second December hero is Mallory McMahon. In December, a handmade banner promoting a white nationalist website was discovered hanging over the 80th Street pedestrian overpass on the Belt Parkway in Bay Ridge. This followed the discovery of posters for the same organization in the same area. Coming on the heels of the anti-Semitic attacks and other hateful incidents, it was scary to see messages that promoted hate in a diverse community like Bay Ridge. Mallory, who leads a grassroots organization called Fight Back Bay Ridge, knew she couldn't remain silent. She coordinated a rally along with 11 other community groups to show Bay Ridge would not stand for hate in their community. The message she showed was this: we outnumber them and will make Bay Ridge inhospitable to white nationalism. They won't win. This will only make us stronger in our unity. For her efforts to defeat hate on a grassroots level and never giving in and organizing people to respond, we want to thank her, and she is our December Heroes of the Month. On behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Mallory, a fellow Brooklynite from the Bay Ridge community, a fictional writer and co-founder of Fight Back Bay Ridge, an activist group founded in 2016, is a collaborative action group seeking to activate community organizing and civic engagement in South Brooklyn. Formulated after the Bay Ridge elected officials failed to listen to the constituents' concerns within the community. I applaud her for collaborating with other residents and local organizations at monthly meetings where they brainstorm and were open to suggestions and proposals for community at large, and for standing up against hate and saying that hate will not take control of her Bay Ridge community. Thank you so much, Mallory.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you so much for this honor. You know, we organized that rally in the span of 48 hours, and we got about 300 people out into the streets on a very blustery day. So it's really nice to see such a response from my community, and also to stand here in Borough Hall and hear that, you know, our elected officials stand with the communities in saying that we need to confront the threat that white nationalism is in our streets every day. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We do, Mallory, we're doing breaking bread, building bonds dinners. We would love for you to host one in Bay Ridge, you know? My team will
Absolutely.
love it. And we want to do a special honoree to a staffer. We normally don't do this, but I recall the evening of the shooting in Jersey City, hearing from Rabbi Abe Freeman. You know, wasn't aware we were going to give him this, but I remember how many days he spent in Jersey City, and I recall the number of calls and the number of things that he did around the shooting, personally on the ground. Many people were not aware that the men and women, and particularly those who were victims of the shooting, many of them came from Brooklyn. And we felt that it was important that Brooklyn extended their hand to our fellow residents of New Jersey, and Abe played a vital role during that time. So on behalf of your colleagues and Brooklynites, I salute Rabbi Abraham Freeman, Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at our office, Brooklyn Borough Hall, a long-term community leader who went above and beyond to assist with the Jersey City tragedy. The moment it happened, he was on the ground. I applaud him for coordinating diligently to stabilize the scene, collaborating with law enforcement, and providing counseling to the community at large. We were all traumatized and distressed in the wake of the tragedy. I commend him for coordinating and arranging for high-ranking law enforcement to attend the scene that included Jersey City Governor, the Attorney General for New Jersey, a special agent of the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office to support the investigation of the catastrophic incident. I acknowledge Rabbi Freeman for arranging and coordinating with the community in the aftermath of the tragedy. And we really want to thank him again for going far beyond the call of duty. And I'm happy to have him here in Brooklyn Borough Hall. It's a reflection of what our staff do every day. But at the same time, when one goes across the waters, it states that the Hudson River is not going to separate us from the compassion we have for our fellow human beings when they're in crisis. Thank you, Abe.
quite a surprise. I want to just thank the Borough President. It's all about the leadership that you have showed me. Right when the incident happened, like what we heard from Mr. Deutsch, when Jersey City got hit, he made sure, he said, please call me ASAP, give me updates so I can respond accordingly. I know the day after, he reached out to the mayor of Jersey City and offered support and made sure that I was on the ground and do all resources is available for whatever is needed in that tragic incident. So I thank you. I believe I did God's calling, and I thank you so much. I'm more proud of all the heroes behind me. Thank you again.
Thank you.